Fun interviews, great conversation, a place to listen. Arrow.net, ARROE.net. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Angela Robinson and Renee Lawless.
Hello, how are you?
Absolutely fantastic, because you guys have created some television here that everybody seems to be talking about everywhere around the Carolinas.
Oh, and other places.
Well, you're absolutely true about that.
And the other 49 states.
Oh, that's right. There's still 49 of them out there, aren't they? I'm sorry. It's all about us here. I'll tell you, here in the Carolinas. I mean, you know how the South is.
Love it.
Man, Tyler Perry's The Haves and Have-Nots. You guys have really generated a lot of energy on this show. I mean, 8 seasons. That's incredible.
Yes, we are very blessed. Very blessed.
To be in this moment of now, where 1 year ago we were all binge watching the show. What is it like for you now, since everybody's starting to get out and about? I mean, they're living life, and now they've got something that they can put into their conversations with other people.
Exactly. Now they can come back to the water cooler.
I thought that was a radio term, water cooler conversation. That's what we've always said in radio.
Oh, I agree. I still think it's still true today. So.
Now, Angela, what does it take to evolve into Veronica? Because, I mean, we're talking about a powerhouse character here.
It takes, it helps to know somebody who is similar. But, I watch a lot of behavior. So actors, when they're training, don't just watch people, but they watch behavior. And I like to watch behavior. So when it came time to create Veronica, it was somewhat easy because I knew her from watching the behavior of a few people. It's just a matter of putting in my own essence, but definitely that controlling, perfectionist personality, I knew, and it was easy to put her on, and I enjoyed 8 years of putting her on all the time. It's been a blessing for me.
Does that also include body language? I mean, because behavior is such a big word, but I mean, the body language would have to come with it as well.
Absolutely, that's a part of a person's behavior, their body language. So absolutely, all of it. Now, when you sit around and watch that a lot, it's easy to sort of come to life when it's time.
Now, Renee, a lot of people know Catherine. There's a lot of Catherines in this world, and I like the way that you're able to bring that character to life.
Yeah, I think everybody knows a Catherine, and some of them aren't. Some of them are somebody we emulate and want to be, and some of them we don't. And I think Catherine is a mesh of both. I think she has, I've always thought Catherine has a lot of positives, and that she does not back down to anyone. And I don't think she would back down. And there's a strength about her that I think a lot of the fans really admire. But at the same time, since season 1, I would always say she reminds me of one of those old oak trees that are statuesque and gorgeous on the inside, but are dying and rotting. I mean, on the outside, but are dying and rotting on the inside.
Yeah.
And I think she doesn't. I mean, except to make it's somebody else on the show, she doesn't show her emotion, and because she keeps all that bottled in, it just kind of wastes away in her innards. But yeah, I think we all know a Catherine, and I had some people that I could draw on. I just knew her when I first got the audition. I knew her instinctively because I had been around those people, and so yeah.
The show we're talking about is Tyler Perry's The Haves and Have-Nots. Angela, when it comes up to a brand new season, do you get the entire season, or is it written episode by episode? Because I mean, you guys keep it so fresh and so moving forward.
Do we get the entire season? That's a good question. It depends on how many episodes we're doing. Mm-hmm. So if we go into the season and we're doing 22 episodes, we don't get all 22. So we may get the first half. Mm-hmm. So No, we don't get, and the thing is, we also a lot of times don't get the cliffhangers.
Oh.
So if it ends with you, if it ends with you drowning in a pool, you really don't know if you're coming out alive until you get that. So you have a lot of sleepless nights waiting to get that next script to find out what happens. So when we're doing the work, we're just as on edge as you guys are when you're watching.
But isn't that what makes it fun, though, for the two of you? That edge of excitement, and because acting is acting, and you knew what it was when you picked it up.
Absolutely.
Right, but you'd like to know if you have a job.
You're right.
Think it.
Now, Renee, the story.
I mean, Catherine went head first in a tub, but I think I was told ahead of time that I was not dead. But poor Angela hadn't always gotten that given to her, and so it's kind of like we didn't when we shot this season, we didn't know we were canceled when we shot it. So we're in the middle of a pandemic and nobody's working, and you find out you're not going back to work. So it was kind of like, oh, okay.
Now, the storyline has always taken place down there in Savannah. Savannah is one of the jewels of the South. What do you guys think of that, man? Because it's just such a beautiful place.
Savannah is a beautiful place. We film in Atlanta, but the show is set partly in Savannah. And Savannah is a beautiful place. So, we've never, had to go to Savannah to film. They send a crew there to do the exteriors, but I love it. So.
Well, look at the way that Tyler Perry's able to bring it to life, though, on television, even, to use our theaters of the mind, which is our imagination, to make it feel like that we are right there in Savannah.
Absolutely.
Tyler Perry can do anything.
Yes, he can. She beat me to that one. I was like, it's Tyler Perry. He can do anything. He can, he can put a fuselage. He puts a whole plane in a parking lot. So what are you going to do?
Well, don't you think that's because of his theater background in the way that, because I remember going to watch Tyler Perry at Ovens Auditorium when it was just Tyler Perry with a play that came to town. And he still took your imagination on a journey, and even though you were sitting there in a theater.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think and Angela and I both have theater backgrounds, and he admires people with a theater background. Mm-hmm. He likes to hire people because he knows that kind of work ethic. A side note, by the way, I'm sure Angela has too. I've played the Ovens twice. Angela, you played the Ovens?
Yes.
Yes, you said you had to play the Ovens. That's like a tank. The Ovens is a tank.
It is, isn't it?
You said the Ovens, and I went, I know that theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the rich history, and then when you walk into that building, it's like you feel the ghosts from other performances that have been there, and then you just get into the next storyline.
Right.
Excellent.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break away on that. As soon as you said that, I went back to theater in the second. Not when you said Ovens.
Yeah, I've only been on that stage twice to perform on it, but there's a vibration when you look out there at that live audience, and that your main job is to make sure that they walk out of here talking about you.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And the one thing that little antidote too that a lot of the audience members don't know, because of Tyler's theater background and who he hires, and because we shoot so fast, 90% of the stuff you see on air we do in one take.
Whoa.
We don't do a bunch of takes. And for Crystal, Angela, and myself, and a few others, that's like doing theater. You go out on stage, you don't get 5 million takes. You do one. So he knows he can do that with us. So, yeah, most of what you've seen for the past several years, including the scene coming up, it's done in one take.
See, that makes me even respect that show even more. That's binge watching time right now. Now I got to go back in there and study the craft. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, too.
Thank you
thank you for having us. Thank you. June 1st.